Am I wrong for refusing to do a client with Tourette syndrome's nails? I, 26 female, am a commission-based nail technician, meaning I don't work for anyone but myself and only rent out a chair in a salon, which is where I work. I reserve every right to decline a client with good reason and have in the past. But something about this one is irking that I'm a bad person for it. Last week, a client came and sat in my chair after booking an appointment with me. This client did not state this anywhere in their appointment, but when they sat down and I was about to do their nails, they started to tick. I honestly didn't mean it, but I think I showed a little worry on my face as they explained their condition. They explained they have Tourette's and sometimes they have tics which move their hands. I nodded and they asked if it'd still be okay. I wanted to set a good impression and assumed it wouldn't be so bad, so I told them I would definitely try and asked them which design, colors, length, shape, etc. they like on them today. It got bad. Lately, a nail style, alternating ombre nails, has been going viral all over TikTok and other social media. This style includes blending, French tip, and precise straight lines. Not too hard, but not too easy. I felt bad I said I would try, and so I did. All through the application of the acrylics, way before the painting, their hands were ticking and moving. It was getting absolutely unbearable as I knew I wasn't going to be able to do their nails. Just as I was finishing drilling her nails into a decent shape and starting to paint, my client had a tic attack so bad that the nail polish was all over her hand. I immediately offered to clean it up for them, but they got really flustered and started to cry and sob. I felt uncomfortable, I won't lie. I definitely couldn't continue their nails. I sat the client back down and explained I didn't think this was going to work out and that a more experienced stylist would maybe work for them. I offered them a drink and a refund, but I could see the frustration in their eyes. They started shouting, calling me a brat, a dog, a childish bitch, and then stormed out. Since then, I've been getting non-stop calls from the client's family, friends, and even Google reviews telling me about how ungrateful, selfish, and ableist I am. So, am I the asshole? Am I wrong for writing something in my journal to expose that my wife was reading it? I, male 29, my wife is 28. She is 5 months pregnant. I have a journal that I write in occasionally. My wife knows I have one and I told her it's private. I don't have any big secrets, but it's a private space for me to write out some thoughts and give them time to think. A week ago, I started to suspect that my wife was reading my journal. I had written that it would be nice to see a friend again because we hadn't seen each other in over 2 years. The next day, my wife asked me about how that friend was doing and if we're planning on meeting up anytime. I found that a bit coincidental, then I started thinking back on some other coincidence, such as my wife getting me something relatively obscure for my birthday that I had written about. I wanted to be absolutely sure, so last night I wrote a fake thought that my wife was gaining too much weight in pregnancy and becoming unattractive. She's not, she's fit and fine. I know that sounds harsh, but I wanted to write something that was 100% fake, and I never had said or implied something my wife would just ignore. Well, today I went out to get groceries and came home to my wife crying. I asked her why, and she said she can't believe I thought she was overweight and unattractive. I asked her where she heard that, and she threw my journal at me. I asked her why she was reading my journal that she knew was private. She said that's not the point. The problem is what I wrote. I told her the whole point was for me to catch her reading it and how I know she does. She called me an asshole and said I need to apologize. By this time, I was pretty mad, so I said I will never apologize for anything I write in my journal, and she needs to realize that she is the only one who did something wrong. Otherwise, we have bigger problems in our relationship. She wanted me to leave the house, but I refused, so she is staying at her sister's now. I am committed to holding my line and not compromising, but I'm still angry, so am I the asshole? Am I wrong for calling the cops on a guy who took my keys because I had been drinking? A few months ago, I moved to a new town and met a new group of people through playing sports. They immediately were very friendly with me and started inviting me to a number of different things, like playing on their sports team as well as parties and game nights. Soon, I realized they were trying to set me up with their friend, Mitch. They were constantly engineering situations where I would have to play next to or sit next to Mitch, and constantly talking up how awesome Mitch was. There were situations where multiple people would check in to see if I was coming to something, which turned out to be on behalf of Mitch. I find absolutely nothing attractive about Mitch. In fact, I find him repulsive and annoying in both looks and personality equally. These people all love Mitch, so they are trying to help him. At least that's what they think is helping him. I wasn't sure what to do because I enjoyed being invited to those things, but I was sick of being constantly pushed towards disgusting and crass Mitch. But it was all plausibly denied, which put me into the position of not being able to directly address it. If Mitch had just asked me out, I could have just said no and put an end to it. But when you're just constantly seated next to someone, you can't freak out about that without seeming like an overreacting psycho. I was invited to a beer festival by a married couple, Brian and Emma, so I went with them and a few other people tagged along, of course including Mitch. We drank all day and I basically avoided Mitch. However, he kept trying to talk to me and I was just so over it that I stopped being neutral / disinterestedly polite and just became palpably rude and annoyed. Every time he would strike up another conversation with me, I would start watching a video on my phone. He said, "What's up with this? I'm starting to feel like you don't like me." And I replied, "Oh," because I just wanted him to go away, not create a scene and drama. Eventually, it was all done and we went back to Brian and Emma's house where I had parked my car. At that point, all the beer had processed through my body and I was sober. I was getting ready to leave and went to use the bathroom. When I came out, Mitch had my keys. He said he would not give me my keys back because I had been drinking all day and wasn't fit to drive. Brian and Emma said everyone was welcome to crash there and sleep over. I said I was going home and give me my keys. Mitch refused. I said I would effing walk several miles home, but my house key was on my keychain, so I would not be able to get into my house, so give me my fucking keys. Mitch refused again. At that point, I took my phone, went outside, and called the cops. Everyone was shocked when the cops showed up. I told them the situation and stated my intention to drive home. They breathalyzed me and I passed. They forced Mitch to hand over the keys. I went home. Now I am bombarded with texts about how much of a psycho I am. So, am I the asshole?